How's it going, everyone? I'm Robbie McClure with KZRV. Today we're going to be going through how to winterize your trailer. So let's dive right into it. So within winterizing your trailer, one of the first things you want to do is you want to make sure that you shut off the power to your water heater. You also want to make sure that you don't have any hot water in the water heater before doing this. You also want to make sure that you have shut off the propane at the front of the trailer so that the water heater doesn't try to ignite while you're trying to winterize the trailer. So the first thing you're going to want to do is up at the top is you have a release valve. We're going to want to open that up to release any pressure that's inside the water tank, and then we'll close it back. Then down at the bottom we're going to locate our anode. Our anode is going to allow us to be able to remove the water from the water tank. So let's do that right now. What I'm using is an 1 1/16 socket, and we're going to remove it with that right now. So once you've removed your anode, the first thing you need to do is we want to inspect it to see if it needs to be replaced. If it needs to be replaced, now's the time to replace it. So if it does not need to be replaced, after the water has been drained out of the water tank, you can put it back in. So while the water tank is draining, we're going to go to the inside and switch over a couple of valves on the back side of the water heater. So let's go do that right now. Okay, so now we're on the inside of the trailer, and on the back side of the water heater, we need to locate 2 valves, and we need to turn those valves parallel with the water lines. We have one at the top and one at the bottom. So those are going to be located up here, and we're going to turn that so that it goes with the water line. And then we have one down here at the bottom, and we're going to turn that so that it goes with the water line. And this is going to create the bypass so that we do not allow any antifreeze into the water tank as we're going through the winterization process. So next, what we need to do is we need to locate our water pump. So let's go do that now. Okay, so we've located our water pump, and the first thing we need to do within getting to our water pump is there's 2 valves that are on the inside that we need to turn. So the first valve is going to be the valve that's going to be able to allow us to be able to pump the antifreeze into our system, and the second valve is going to be our fresh water tank valve. So we want to make sure that that is closed at this point. So then we're going to take the hose that's attached to the water pump, and we're going to put this in our antifreeze. So let's get our antifreeze and get started there. Okay, so we've got our antifreeze here, and what we're going to do is we're going to open this up, and after opening it, the hose coming off of your water pump, we're going to stick that in our first gallon of antifreeze, and we'll leave that sit right there. And what we're going to do at this point is we're going to go to our water pump switch, and we're going to turn that on. And then after turning that on, what we will do is we will go to each of the faucets and we will open those up to be able to allow the antifreeze to start pumping through the system. If you haven't turned on the water pump switch yet at this time, go turn on the water pump switch. You should hear the pump start to be able to pump the antifreeze through your system. Then come to your first faucet, and one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to open up the cold side first, and then we're going to open up the hot side. So you want to make sure that any of the faucets that we open up both sides of those faucets to be able to make sure that the system is going to get fully cycled through with antifreeze. So let's do so right here. So within doing this, we want to make sure that we do it in the manner of where the water is clear and wait till it starts to change colors. Once it starts to change colors, we will move on to the next faucet. Okay, so at the toilet, we will hold the lever down for 5 seconds. This is going to allow the fluids to be able to build up down in the tank so that we don't have any freezage. And then we will release it, and that's going to complete the toilet portion of winterization. Okay, so at this point, we've got the water heater drained. We can put our anode back into the water heater. When you go to put the anode back in, make sure that you just snug it up and you don't over tighten it. We just want to make sure that it's not going to leak, and we just want to make sure that it's not going to back out. So let's do that right now. Okay, so now we'll take our socket and ratchet and we will tighten it down just a little bit more just to make sure that it's snug, and then that's going to complete our water heater. And then we're going to go to our outside shower as well as our low point for our freshwater tank to make sure that our freshwater tank is emptied. So on the outside shower, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the same process as we did on the inside with our faucets. So before we turn on the hot or the cold, we want to make sure that on the end of the spigot that we've got it positioned in the right spot. If you position it in the middle, then you should be okay. And then we will turn on the hot. And then we'll turn on the cold. And while we're doing this, just make sure you have a bucket available to be able to spray the fluids into. And then we will hang this up here to let it drip dry. And then the next thing that we want to do is we're wanting to go to our freshwater tank, and we're going to want to go to the low point so that we can drain our fresh water, and then that's going to complete how we winterize our trailer. So let's do that now. Okay, so we've located our low point. Down and underneath your trailer, you're going to locate your low point, and we want to make sure that that is going to be turned open. So this will allow any of the water that's in your fresh tank to be able to drain out, so that it doesn't stay in the tank and freeze and you don't have any issues through the winter. So make sure that you don't forget this step, because you don't want to have any frozen water lines, and that's going to complete how you winterize your trailer. Hopefully this was helpful, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.